Hello there. Thanks for joining me. I'm Sophia and I want to walk you through the creation of the Deutlich app, which is a language learning app that allows you to learn German words from the news. So let's get started. Our target user is Lucas. Lucas is a 29-year-old Italian visual designer who lives in Dusseldorf, Germany. He is an exciting guy who is always on the hunt for new information and knowledge. As a curious extrovert, he enjoys reading up on different subjects so that he can share interesting discussions with his buddies. However, he is insecure about his language skills because he doesn't have enough German vocabulary to express his thoughts, which might have something to do with the fact that he is not very disciplined. As a designer, he has a high aesthetic standard and he's very creative. Lucas's goal is to talk to his German friends about different topics. So, how can we help him? To understand a little more, Lucas has attended some classes here and there. He's tried many apps, textbooks, and other methods to learn German, but he never stuck to anything. He gets bored easily and needs to learn with a varied and stimulating approach, which will satisfy his urge to absorb new information and make discipline feel natural. So, here's our hypothesis. By integrating interesting conversation topics in vocabulary learning for Lucas, we will achieve his aim to apply German words to speaking about the topics that interest him, thereby drawing him to learn consistently because it is enjoyable. So, based on that, I created two main user flows. The first flow involves Lucas browsing through interesting news articles and saving any words that he wants to learn into a word list. He can create a new word list, or he can choose to save it to an existing word list. The second flow on the right is the learning part. Lucas chooses the word list that he wants to learn, and then he can choose to learn from German to English or the other way around, or even random. And then he can select to learn with flashcards or even take a quiz. Next is the wireframing and prototyping part. I sketched out the screens and iterated on new ways to present the information and features that will allow Lucas to achieve his goal. When I am happy with what I had, I mock them up digitally using Prot, and voila, I have a low fidelity prototype ready for tests. Next, I created a test plan to test 8 tasks. The first 4 are core functionalities that the users must go through in order to use this app to achieve his or her objectives. And that includes onboarding, adding a new word from the article, doing the flashcards, and taking the quiz. And if the user has trouble with any of these tasks, then it's a major issue that must be fixed. The next 3 are related to customized settings that are needed to cater to the user's needs in order to find the app helpful. And these include editing news topics, changing language, and German level settings. If there are any issues here, it should also be prioritized, but not before the core function problems. The last 2 here are helpful features that would be nice to have, such as filtering word lists for easier access or filtering the newsfeed for one specific topic. And issues with these tasks are prioritized last. Now, as a result of the user tests, I have indeed identified several major issues. The first was that testers did not understand the app after onboarding. Virtually nobody read the tagline under the title in the welcome screen. Also, testers found it intimidating to see a newsfeed screen full of German text right after onboarding. So, in the revised design, I added an onboarding flow that users can go through before they see the welcome screen. I also changed the layout of the newsfeed screen to make it look less intimidating by reducing the text and article count and adding larger images. Next is the word list. Testers felt that they had to select language options, but weren't exactly sure why until later, and they also didn't know what the random option stood for. I redesigned the word layout into word cards and placed them in the center so users can easily grasp what is the key content. I differentiated the design of choosing the learning method and learning language so that the learning method stands out more as the key activity that they need to select. The flashcard screens weren't so smooth either. Many testers didn't know what to do when there was no direction on the screen after the first flashcard. They seemed confused about how the flashcards work. So I redesigned the layout so you can see the next card to suggest that you need to swipe to see it. I also created a new tutorial that appears in the first card, but also is available for access through the information icon in the bottom right. Another issue was that people couldn't find where to add more topics to the newsfeed. Everyone tried to find this in the newsfeed tab instead of in the user settings tab, which is where it is. So in the revised design, I placed an edit topics in the drop-down list of the newsfeed tab. The last major issue was that people didn't understand or see the word list sort function in the word list overview tab. So I redesigned the sort function to something a little more familiar and changed the copy on the options to make it more clear. For next steps, I will redesign a new word list icon in the navigation menu, which has been a major disruptor for testers to find the word lists. I will develop further the score overview part in the word list and the more and edit view on the word cards. I also want to conduct some surveys or interviews to understand the demand for recommended word lists, which has been suggested by an interviewee. The learnings from this project was invaluable to my understanding of the UX design process. And here I want to share some key takeaways. So several things that went well for me. I was able to identify a lot of false assumptions of my own about the user through user testing, and that was definitely humbling. I also thought that asking testers to think out loud was a great way to capture useful quotes, and I found it very helpful to gather design inspirations from other UX designers through platforms like Dribbble or Behance. Some things that didn't go so well. I realized that something as simple as the icon design, which I didn't put so much thought into, really affected the navigation of the app for testers. Also, having designers as testers let the test to become somewhat of a design critic session rather than a testing session at times. And last but definitely not least, I should remember to select the right phone screen size and prot. It was definitely a very fun and rewarding experience to create a prototype on my own based on structured research and testing processes. And I'm really pumped to do more. And I look forward to the next projects. Thank you very much for joining me. I have attached the links to my first and revised prototype in case you are interested, and I wish you a great rest of your day.